Hi everyone, today we are going to understand the topic which is known as organizational conflict and resolution. Now, organizational conflict is an instance in which individuals or the units work against each other rather than working together. Understanding conflict plays a very important role in the organization because it has influence on the behavior of the employees as well as their satisfaction and enthusiasm in doing the work for the organization. Now, while talking about conflict, I mean to say here that in this process, basically it is a situation in which two individuals or two groups are against each other. They are not coming on one particular goal or satisfaction level to accomplish tasks for the organization. It means their thinking is different from their point of view as well as the other person is thinking different from their point of view. So now let's understand what are different levels of conflict. In that, the first level is within the employees. So this is known as intrapersonal conflict. In intrapersonal conflict, a manager experiences that his values are not according to the work he is doing and he has to adopt some other strategies or some other types of values to perform his duties. So this is basically a war between yourself in which you have to compromise certain values which you believe in. Now let's understand the second level, which is between the individuals or between the employees, known as interpersonal conflict. Now this is very important to understand the interpersonal conflict within the organization, because once you are dealing in the organization, it might be a problem that the views of your employees and the managers are not clicking, or the manager and the subordinates are not coming on the one particular topic or one particular issue to solve them. So that is known as interpersonal conflict. It has direct impact on your self-esteem and self-image because you think you are right, but you have to oblige to the terms and conditions which is being set by your manager. Interpersonal conflict may also arise when there is a personality problem. Your personality is different from the another person's personality. There is communication gap between the organization or between the team who are working here. So that are the common causes of interpersonal conflict. So the next level we will understand is the across group in the organization, known as conflict between the groups or intergroup conflicts, in this what happens within the organization is that the conflict arises between the two departments or two groups which is working differently. For example, a marketing team may have conflict with a production team because a marketing team has to depend on the production team to get the product ready and to understand the features of the product. So basically it happens when there is a conflict between the understanding the viewpoints between the team members and the group leaders, because they are actually working in a different direction and they have different thinking style. Let us understand types of conflict. In that, first one is a task conflict. When I talk about task conflict, it means you are given a task within the organization and you have to accomplish those tasks. Now it may be in a productive way or it may be in a negative way also. When I talk about in a positive way, I mean to say here when you have to accomplish some task, you have to work in an activity, you have to work in a group, you have to be in a team, and if you are agreeing with the team members thinking and task-oriented work, so you can accomplish that. On the other hand, if there is uncertainty or a misunderstanding between the group, or there is no clarity of who will play the role of what, then there will be a misunderstanding and the task will not be accomplished according to the organization standard. So the next type we are going to understand is known as relationship conflict, in which there is a conflict situation in the interpersonal group conflict. I mean to say there is a conflict between two individuals or employees working within the team. So here the manager has to spend time in avoiding all those things or misunderstanding or understanding what is the problem of the conflict and then sort it out. Now this can be a reason of different thinking, this can be a reason of different types of personality who's working under a one team, and so the conflict has been arised. So the next type is the process conflict, in which we will understand what type of process should be conducted to avoid the situation which is creating a conflict. Here the manager has to play a very important role understanding the core of the problem and then providing solution according to it. I mean to say here, adopting the process which can solve the problem as soon as possible. Let's understand causes of conflict. So first is organizational change. Organizational change, changing in the dynamic world, in the cooperative world, you have to adopt changes. For example, there may be technological change, some political policies that have been changing, some new policies you have to adopt. So the employee should be in that phase that okay, now the organization will change this system and they have to be adopted according to it. If not, then there will be a conflict in the organization. The second type is personality conflict. Here I mean to say different employees have different type of personality. All human beings are unique while they are behaving within the organization as well as outside the organization. So personality plays a very important role in the organizational behavior and human resource. So if you are extrovert or introvert, it will have a conflict creating problem, because if a person speaks less, then he will understand also less, because there is a communication gap. So the next one is the ambiguity over responsibility. In an organization, when you are working in a group or a team, there might be a misunderstanding that who is going to perform which task and who is responsible for this type of activity which is being conducted. So there might be a conflict arise when there is no role clarity and the task may not be accomplished according to the standards. Difference in values. Every employee or the individual have different type of set values of their own, and there might be a problem while working in the organization who do not abide by the rules or the values which you have. So there might be a conflict arising problem or misunderstanding within the organization. Next point is contrastic perception, in which I assume as an employee that with the way I think, the another person will think in the same manner, and this may create a conflict in the organization, because every individual have different style of thinking and different perception skills. So this may create a misunderstanding within the group and the organization. Now let's understand distrust. When I talk about distrust, I mean to say here, when you don't trust your employees or your team members while working within the same team, this may be a major problem while you are working in a team or a group within the organization. You cannot share whatever you are feeling, or you cannot share the task you are doing because you do not trust the another person. Faulty communication. Faulty communication arises when there is a communication gap between the organization or the team you are working for. Your role is not clear, and after that you are being asked to do certain types of activity which you are not meant for. So this is a communication gap, and this may lead to a biggest conflict in the organization. So the next point is grudges. Grudges, when I talk about, it means you are pulling somebody down because you have threat from that individual's work or their status, and that is the only reason you are trying to pull that person down. Resolution strategy. Now let us understand what are different resolution strategy to avoid conflict within working in an organization. So the first one is compromising. Here I mean to say, if there is a problem, you start compromising on the problem. You start avoiding that problem so that for a time being that problem is sorted out. The next type is forcing. Forcing applies when you are actually putting your viewpoint on the other's viewpoint. Basically, you are trying to get the advantage of your experience because you have faced this problem before and you think your point of view is greater than the another one. So forcing plays an important role when the employees are new or just started working in the organization because they do not have experience, so that the problem is arising. The next is avoiding. Now in this, what happens is the manager tries to avoid the conflict for the time being so that the conflict is resolved as at the most level, because right now that this is not a time to do that topic right, and hence he avoids the problem. Then comes the smoothing. Smoothing means you are understanding the situation of both the side and then you are coming out with a solution. Comforting comes when smoothing is done. Comforting means you are able to explain both the parties about your viewpoint and then coming to a one-pointed attention.